In this week's episode of Tokyo Ghoul Route A, the raid on Ontaku continues, and the kick-ass meter gets kicked up to 11. This week's episode was a non-stop action fest, from beginning to end. And it's not just an action-packed bloodbath. You're gonna get the feels in this week's episode too. So let's talk about some of the highlights of this week's episode, which was surprisingly simple and to the point. It was basically just a lot of fighting and a lot of dying. The episode opened up with some of the top agents from the Doves fighting against Koma and Irima, otherwise known as the Devil Ape and the Black Dober. This opening scene is really impressive, and what I really love most about it is it almost seems like they're going to be killed off real easily. At first, at this part of the episode, while I was watching it, I was ready to hate it immediately. I didn't like the fact that they were killed off so easily, and that we didn't really get to know these characters as well as I wanted to. But luckily, Kaneki ends up showing up and saving the day, as he usually does. The rest of the episode is pretty much the main members of the Doves, which include Shinohara, Hoji, the guy who looks like John Travolta, and then we also have Juzo, who's also going to be fighting against the Owl, and that was definitely one of the biggest surprises, was seeing Juzo go all out against the Owl, because his fighting style is just so erratic and crazy, and made for some of the best action scenes in this week's episode. But when they all suddenly start teaming up against him, they start hacking him to pieces, repeatedly cutting off his limbs, until he finally succumbs to his wound, in a very sad scene where he envisions himself meeting his dead wife Ukina for the last time. The episode ends with all of the Ghoul investigators getting excited that they exterminated the Owl, only to have all of that extinguished when the second Owl appears from out of nowhere like a frickin' red meteorite of death from the sky and goes through a nasty transformation, revealing the one-eyed Owl. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Tokyo Ghoul? Badass is what it was. This was the type of episode that I've been waiting for. Really, it seems like it's all been building up to this big moment when all the investigators are going to be fighting against the ghouls. How the Aogiri group is going to be involved in any of this, I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that the tables are about to be turned with the arrival of the one-eyed Owl. I imagine that the daughter of frickin' Yoshimura probably brought along a few of her goons, and this is going to just evolve into this big, massive, bloody war, which frankly, I cannot wait to see. But some of the highlights in this week's episode I want to talk about is just all of the individual action scenes. They were all handled really well. I especially love that they still focused on the Devil Ape and the Black Dober. Those were really impressive, and it is a little cheesy and slightly cliche how they were both being defeated and almost killed at the same exact time, and the circumstances behind them were a little strange, like how the Black Dober woman, how she actually had to end up saving this old lady who got involved in the battle, and that ended up actually nearly killing her, but still, she wasn't going down without a fight, and their actual opponents themselves are really awesome. They were shown off in last week's episode with their big abilities, like Tanaka Maru, who's the big badass bartender dandy looking guy. He's awesome. I especially love the scene when he actually transformed his gun into this one massive cannon and hit Koma with it at frickin' point blank range. Then only that, we got frickin' Hachikawa. This guy's creepy. It was previewed in the last episode that like his lips might have been like ripped or removed away, and I'm guessing that in the past he fought against the Black Dobers. And then we have the big battle against the Owl, which just goes on and on, and it has some amazing scenes, especially when all the individual members of the investigation team start getting involved in the battle. It pretty much just starts with Juzo going insane, and I love the minute Juzo was mentioned. There's this really great tracking shot where you follow him running down these stairs, and then he immediately starts to attack the Owl, just jumping around him constantly, and then Shinohara gets involved in the battle, and that's when he learns, because of a quick flashback with frickin' Mato, that he has to learn to trust his comrades and fight with them, and that's when this big assault just takes place, and they all just end up destroying him. I especially love the abilities of that one guy, Hoji, who has that big cannon where it shoots things into you, it sticks you, and then it just explodes. It's ridiculous. And then there's a scene where they just wail on the Owl for like over a minute straight, just constantly attacking him, and it just keeps on going, and it's so messed up and destructive. And I got surprisingly choked up when Yoshimura was actually walking towards the image of his dead wife. That was a really sad scene, and then he just collapsed right there on the spot. And definitely one of the biggest highlights is the appearance of the one-eyed owl at the end. The entrance was really awesome. The transformation sequence was really creepy, and it does look different enough from the other owl to make it really distinct. I really can't wait to see how this is all going to evolve as this series is going on. And we also have a big confrontation coming up between Ammon and freaking Kaneki. Yes, the two main characters from either side are going to be clashing, and I can't wait to see where that's going. I'm honestly kind of expecting Kaneki to unleash his Kakuja again. I really want to see that because we've only seen it in that one episode when he went completely insane with it, and I think this would be a good opportunity to bring it out because we're almost at the end of this season right here. In fact, I think we only have 2 episodes to go. So safe to say, the next 2 are going to be pretty freaking insane. So, the technical sides of this week's episode were pretty good. It had some really good animation, some really great artwork. It never stopped. The momentum never dropped in this week's episode, and it was a lot of fun. I think it's what we've all been waiting for in Tokyo Ghoul, and it certainly paid off this week. So, if you've been following the series, check out this week's episode. It'll get you pumped up and excited for the big finale of Tokyo Ghoul Route A. I'm going to give this week's episode a 5 out of 5. As pure raw anime entertainment, this series did its job this week. It was action-packed, it had some great themes, some really awesome characters, and I especially loved the one-eyed owl at the end. That was some nasty, creepy-looking shit. So check it out, guys. Really fun episode of Tokyo Ghoul. I cannot wait to see what they're going to do with the finale. Thank you guys for watching my review. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And before you guys leave, please tell me what you thought about this week's episode of Tokyo Ghoul Route A. Did you guys have a favorite action scene from this episode? What do you think is the deal with the one-eyed owl appearing out of nowhere? Is she going to get revenge for the death of her father? Is Aogiri Group coming in? What do you want to see from the rest of Tokyo Ghoul Route A? Remember, if you guys have not subscribed to our channel, you can do that by clicking on the channel icon right up here. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. And make sure to check out our brand new video podcast series, The Powerful Nerdcast. Just in the last week, me and Christian talked about all the brand new spring anime that's getting ready to start. What shows do you want us to review and discuss? Watch that video and let us know. Thank you guys again for watching, and stay dandy, baby.